Hi everyone, I'm Bridie, Miss Welton, and this is Todd, Mr. Broadbent. We just had a quick PowerPoint that we wanted to show you in getting your child prepared and ready for school next year. We're very excited, and we know that some of you might have lots of questions, so hopefully some of these will be answered in the following slideshow.
Throughout the slideshow as well, if you need to pause it at any stage, feel free. If you want to write some notes or anything like that. And as Bridie has mentioned, if you have any questions after it, feel free to contact us and we're happy to help out in any way, or throughout the transition sessions, have a chat to us about any of those things that get mentioned throughout. I think we better get into it then.
Yeah.
Let's go to the slideshow. Hi everyone, Mr. Broadbent here again. This is the slideshow that we were going to be talking about today. And as you can see, the title does say Preparing Your Child for School. So myself and Miss Welton will explain as we go through. So this one here is just talking about that parents and caregivers can do heaps of things to help their child prepare for the start of school. And we're going to kind of go through those throughout all these slides. It is a big kind of year for them, but there's heaps of little opportunities for you to help them throughout the year, and we're going to go through those with these slides coming up. Writing their name. So this was a really important one. We'd love them to be able to do this before they come to school. So if they need to do capital letters at the start, that's okay. But we're trying to get them to be able to do the lowercase letters as well, and we'll be practicing that at school, because it is quite a hard kind of skill to get out of them if they keep doing capital letters all the time. So if you can get them to be able to have a capital at the start and then trying to do their lowercase, that is fantastic. But then encouraging them to write their name is fantastic as well.
Hi everyone, our next slide is called Getting Dressed Independently. This is something that you can really sort of incorporate into your daily routines with your child. So there's a few things that you can do to sort of help assist them. It would be really great if they could get to a stage where they could do it entirely independently themselves. So things such as putting on, taking off their school shoes and socks is a really great one. We do this quite a few times throughout the year, where we will require students to take off their socks and shoes. For instance, when we have our gym sessions, swimming, things like that, there will be a need. And of course, it makes it a lot easier if kids are able to do part of this independently. A great idea too is really to look at what sort of school shoes you're purchasing, because some shoes are a lot more easier to do up than others. So just something to keep in mind there. We also have a few opportunities for tying shoelaces, which is a great activity that we'll do in developmental play and other areas. Really great to strengthen those fingers, but to also learn the art of tying up laces. Other things such as putting on jumpers and raincoats is very important, especially when it's the end of the day. They really need to make sure that before they go outside, they put these on in winter. And jumpers can be quite tricky because we have buttons on them, and raincoats can have zips. So buttons, zips, shoelaces, all those sorts of things are really important to sort of learn how to control those fingers. Familiarizing with the school bag is a great one for preps. I know that it's quite difficult. You sort of have the urge to help them, but this is a task that they can really enjoy themselves and have a little bit of independence with. So packing their bags to make sure that everything's inside, carrying the bag themselves. Obviously, we don't encourage it to be too big or to be too full, but it's great if the kids can also carry their own bags and things like that. Learn how to safely take the bag and slip it off their shoulders as well is a great one as well. And yeah, just making sure that their bags are entirely zipped up before they do go moving the bag, so they avoid tipping the contents out. Using toilets independently, that's one that we'll be working closely with a lot of families. It's a bit of a tricky one, this one. This one's a bit difficult because of the age. Often there's nothing quite wrong with, a couple of accidents. That's quite normal. You won't be alone in that. There'll be several kids, so certainly don't put a lot of pressure on the child or yourself if they're not quite independent with toileting just yet. But getting them to understand that they need to go. So when prompted, for instance, they need to actually stop what they're doing and comply with the request. And also knowing not to get too engrossed in activity and getting distracted as well will also help them. We have plenty of toilet breaks throughout the day. We do encourage them to use the set toilet breaks, as those are a bit more appropriately timed rather than right in the middle of important instructions and things like that. So that's a few things that we encourage, but of course we never say no to letting them go to the toilet. That's very important as well. But there's a few things that they need to know about listening to their bodies to know when to go, and also with the different types of toilets. So we have boys' toilets and girls' toilets, and for boys, of course, we have urinals, and that's sort of a different skill in itself. But it's always handy to have a spare pair of underwear, but also pants in the bag as well, just in case they don't make it to the toilet in time. That would be really handy, rather than having to get the spare ones from the office.
So, Mr. Broadbent back here again, and some personal hygiene things that we just make sure that we always talk about. So, obviously, washing their hands after going to the toilet is a really important one, and practice using the tissues to blow their nose. They're two very important things that they're going to need when they're at school. So, we just need to make sure that we continue to practice that before they come to school, which I'm sure, as I said, is particularly with this year, I'm sure they've been doing that a lot. Social skills, this is a massive one in the prep area, and we have a massive focus on this during the whole of their prep year. But it's really important that you can be doing a lot of this at home as well, and when they're catching up with friends and buddies and all those kind of things. So there's lots of opportunities that we do at school with cooperating and playing and sharing and taking turns. And we're getting them to apologise when they make a mistake or they accidentally do something wrong. So we're going to keep them learning those little social cues along the way. So if you can arrange some opportunities for them to get to play with some other children, that'll be fantastic. And learning to be able to share and cooperate and work together would be fantastic. Preparing for eating breaks, so making sure that they get familiar with opening and closing their lunch boxes is really important. Some of the lunch boxes are quite challenging for them to use, so for them to be able to open it and close it and open the containers is really important. Bridie and myself are able to help unwrap or open containers, but getting them to familiarise themselves with opening their lunchbox and opening containers and wrappers and those kind of things is fantastic. As I said, we're more than happy to help, but really encourage them to really have a really good go. Drink bottles, we have to have drink bottles at the moment. We can't use our bubble taps, so them to be able to use their drink bottle and have a drink bottle each day is really important as well. So please make sure that they're having a drink bottle when they come to school each day. And just finally, we do have some different eating times at school, but there is plenty of times for them to eat. We have our fruit break, which is at 10 o'clock. We have lunch at 11 o'clock. And then we also have our recess break, which is at 1:45. So there's plenty of times for them to eat throughout the day. So make sure that you pack plenty of food in their lunchbox so they're ready and able to eat that when required.
Moving on to fruit break. So we have fruit break at 10 o'clock, like Mr. Broadbent has said. And we really encourage fruit and vegetables at this time of day. It's just great for kids who have perhaps been at before school care, or for kids who haven't completely eaten their breakfast because they haven't sort of been ready to eat such a large meal. It just gives them a snack to keep going and gets them through till lunchtime. So very important that we have fruit and vegetables in our daily diet as well. So it encourages a lot of healthy eating. Of course, we do know that there's a few children who need a bit more encouragement to eat their fruit and vegetables, and Todd and I are completely open to a bit of a discussion around this if you wanted to see us about that. But of course, preferably no messy fruits, just because this can create a little bit of a mess on school uniforms, and not that it affects us, but it can sort of upset the child. We are a reading school here at Specimen Hill Primary School, which you may have already heard about. We are huge lovers of books and reading. We do really want to create a love of literacy with our students. Children who enjoy reading also are finding it a little bit more easier to then learn their letters, their sounds, and their high frequency words as well. We'll go through with the students at the start of the year how to correctly hold the book, how to turn the pages, and all that sort of important thing about book orientation. So feel free to start this before school though, and I'm sure that they'll find it quite natural because they'll be used to reading books at home with you guys already. We're also going to send home a bit of a sheet with questions that you can ask after reading, also during reading, and that'll also help the child thinking about the text as well. You'll also get a bit of a video as well from Mrs. Kingsman learning a bit more about the reading aspect that we would like to encourage you to perhaps have a go at. So stay tuned, that'll be in another email to come. Lots of things that we like to encourage reading at the beginning stages for our young readers. Things like poems, nursery rhymes. Rhyming is quite a big one that we like to encourage. For instance, once they learn one word, it then quickly develops into knowing lots of other words once they can identify those sounds that match. So lots of fun as well. Kids love hearing different rhymes, particularly funny ones. And of course, in the beginning stages, it doesn't have to be actual word as long as they've got the rhyming sound. Pat and down pat, that's what we like to hear.
Language skills. Encourage your child to talk about familiar objects and events, so using their words to explain that. Following simple two-step instructions as well. So for example, being able to follow those. So put on your pajamas, then brush your teeth. So there's two examples there. So we want them to develop and understand language, but also be able to express their language as well when they're talking to us. Also, with language skills, encourage your child to communicate their needs. So as I mentioned just before, like I might be thirsty or I need to go to the toilet, as Bridie was mentioning in her slide before. So again, being able to express what they need is really important. So getting them to talk as much as possible is really, really important. And also allowing your child to use a variety of tools. So to be able to draw, write, scribble known words as well is really important, which we'll be continuing to do throughout the prep year, but encouraging them to do that before they come to school is even better as well. Number skills as well. We love doing numeracy and numbers at school. So we've been doing these during our transition. So simple counting, being able to identify the numbers from 1 to 10, and being able to look at the maybe, for example, 5 teddies and be able to count those and say there's 5 there. All those little things are fantastic, and getting them to learn to be able to count. We'll do heaps of that at school, and they'll learn heaps of those different skills at school, but fantastic if you can, again, practice those before coming to school, and having that base knowledge is only going to help them when they come to school as well. And being able to also match objects and shapes and talk about how big or small something is and colours, all those kind of things are all fantastic skills to be able to learn before school, but as we've all mentioned the whole way through, they'll also learn these during the school year.
Fine motor skills. This is an area that we really do encourage for students when they get to school, but also if you wanted to give them a bit of support beforehand, that's something that we would be thrilled with, of course. Basic skills such as cutting and pasting. This is something that we'll do on a weekly basis, but of course the kids love a bit of craft. So once again, if you wanted to do some of these activities beforehand, then we do encourage that over the holiday break before coming to school. Pencil control. Students naturally go through different stages of holding the pencil. This will be something that they were working on at kinder prior to coming, and it's something that we will continue once they get to school as well. Things like pencil grips as well do help. So you might hear your students talking about those when they come home from school. Working with Play-Doh, doing beads, making jewellery, Lego blocks, tracing, all these things will really help to build their gross motor skills. And of course, what better way to do it than through some play? So often a lot of incidental learning occurs during playing activities. So feel free to encourage more of that Lego play that they do love so much. Social skills are very important, also emotional skills as well. One of our school values is resilience, and that's something that we do develop here at school, but is really good for them to start learning and hearing about beforehand. We do a lot of group work as well at school, so playing cooperatively outside of school is just as helpful with their friends or their siblings. Encouraging them to problem solve themselves, even if it's just through a scenario or after an issue has taken place, can also help them to learn how to deal with a certain situation, but also to know when to ask for help as well. Tidying up after themselves is a really big one here at school as well. We encourage a lot of independence, and of course it's something that you can benefit from at home when they tidy up there as well. So we have a lot of responsibility and things like that here at school, and it's one of the great skills that can move very quickly and easily between school and home.
Preparing for the first day, how exciting. This is one of Bridie and my favourite ones. In the weeks leading up to the first day of school, just discussing the kinds of things that will happen at school and try to get them excited about coming. I bet they're already excited about coming, like Bridie and myself, but getting them excited about reading and writing and learning about numbers and getting to meet new people and new friends and getting to play with some fantastic equipment out in the playground and on the oval and in class. We've got many fantastic things at school, and we know that they're going to really enjoy those, so really talk those up as much as possible. If you can, maybe go for a walk past the school in the holidays, just so they can, again, keep getting used to the environment that they're going to be at quite a bit. You might be able to point out the classrooms or go up and look around near the oval and the playgrounds and those kind of things. So we really encourage doing that as well. Or the night before school. It's always a bit nerve-wracking, but also exciting. So during that time, help the child pack their bag with everything that they need. So their hat, their jumper, water bottle, spare pair of pants, underwear if required, ensuring that every item is clearly named in case they do take their jumper off or their hat or anything. We need everything named and labelled, so it's a lot easier for us as well as the child. And make sure that they get a really, really good night's sleep. They are going to be probably a little bit nervous, which is totally understandable. Bridie and myself also get a bit nervous before that first day, so that is totally fine. And it's also okay for you guys to be a little bit nervous, but they're in really safe hands here at Specie Hill, and we will look after them. So making sure they get a really good sleep the night before. The morning before school. A healthy breakfast is really important, allowing them to be really switched on for their first day of school. Show your child what they have for lunch and discuss what they need to eat is a really good one, so they know what they might have during brain food and our fruit break, and then also at lunchtime and then recess time as well. And then also maybe having that discussion during breakfast about what they're really looking forward to about the day ahead.
Just to continue on with that, it's really important that you do reassure your child that it's okay to feel nervous. That's something that is completely understandable, and it's not something that we just want to brush off either. But it is important that you do help to show them or to model about keeping calm and also having a positive attitude to school. Making sure that when you do say goodbye that it's a nice and quick one, have a little bit of a routine, and then it's important that you do know that once you do leave, even though you might feel terrible and your child might still be feeling nervous, rest assured that once you're out that door, the child is very quickly settled, and it's something that we as teachers can certainly keep you up to date with as well. But another quick one is just to make sure that you do keep an eye on that time in the morning, because we do understand that running late can be something that can create nerves in young children on the first day of school. Once you're at school, really important to show your child where you'll pick them up in the afternoon. Todd and myself will be walking the students out to the cars at this stage, but we'll keep you up to date on that. We will remind them where the toilets and bubble taps are for filling up their drink bottles, but it's important that you can do this too, and just to help reinforce that. And yes, if your child does become upset, please don't prolong the farewell. That's something that I was touching on before. They will be well looked after, and if necessary, like I said, we can contact you later. You can send us an email, see how they are. But never have we once, Todd, had an issue. Unfortunately, once you're out the door, it's very quick to settle the child in and for them to start enjoying their first day of school. After the first day of school, make sure that you're aware of what time you'll need to collect your child. And it's really great to spend some time asking questions and listening to your child about how their first day went, show a real interest. Sometimes you might often get a bit of a limited response and things like that. So perhaps maybe trying to word your questions a little bit differently. It might be a strategy that you want to use to find out a bit more about their day. So rather than saying, "What did you do today?" maybe you can try, "What was the best thing about your day?" And where there's always fun times ahead. Your child will never have a bad day. Often, if something happens at the end of the day, that can be something that they retain, and it might be the first thing they talk about when they get in the car. But they've had plenty of fun things to do about, and you'll find out with our little monthly updates what they've been up to and what we will be doing as well in the future.
The first few weeks of school, don't be concerned if your child is extremely tired. That is a normal thing that a lot of the preps feel. They are big days, and that's why we have that planned Wednesday off for the first few weeks. It's about 5 or 6 weeks we have that first Wednesday off, so they can have a little bit of a rest day before coming back for another 2 days of school. So it is okay if they are feeling really tired, okay? And make sure we have our nightly reading and all those kind of things. So it's really important that they get into a bit of a routine with nightly reading and our smart spelling program. So please make sure if we can try and fit those in, that is fantastic. But just remember, if they are tired, don't keep your child at home. It's really important that they're coming to school and settling into learning and the process of coming to school. And as we said, it is okay if they are a little bit tired. We'll help them through that and get them into that routine and structure. And once they're in that routine and structure, they'll be fine. However, if your child is sick, we do want them to stay home, particularly with everything that's going on currently. We do want them staying home, but even when it's back to normal, which we hope is really soon, still they need to be staying home so they're not affecting other students or ourselves as well. So just making sure that you're following that as well. Just a couple of other little things in the first few weeks. You can come and speak to us about any concerns or any issues at any stage. Bridie and myself are always here to help. That's part of our thing, is to help you guys out as much as your child as well. Help them to be able to settle in to the school environment, and it's a new school for them, but it's also a new environment for you guys as well, and we're here to support you in their learning journey. So please come and see us if you've got any issues or problems along the way. And regular check-in communication with the school and us is really important. We'll make sure we check in with you, and feel free to come and check in with us if it is an email or it's a face-to-face conversation out the front of the school or classrooms. You can come and talk to us about anything about your child and how they're going, or if we can help assist them at school as well, or at home, or anything like that. We are here for you the whole way through as well. So that is the end of the slideshow here. We're going to come back to Bridie and myself, and we'll just wrap it up.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do so. Lots of important things on that slideshow presentation. Any questions, feel free to shoot us an email, call the school, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can.
We look forward to meeting you and your child in the coming transition sessions. It's going to be a really fun and enjoyable time coming up. Bridie and myself can't wait, and we look forward to getting to know you a little bit more, and also your child. So as Bridie has said, if you've got any questions, yell out. We are here for you as well, and we look forward to seeing you all really soon. See you later.
Bye.